Welcome everybody. We're having a Cafecito virtual today with Takeila Hall. Takeila works at the College Foundation of North Carolina. She is one of the regional representatives. And today we have a very important topic that we want to talk to you about. But first, let's talk to Takeila. Takeila, how are you this morning?
I'm great. I'm so glad to be with you all. And, I know this is coffee time, so I just want to show you guys that I have my mug here.
Yes. Cheers.
Yay. I'm excited about that. So I had two. I really had two that I wanted to choose. And then I had another one. It says, "Hello, gorgeous." So
Oh,
just
you
so you
are?
guys.
Hello, gorgeous. Yes. So what are you drinking coffee, tea, or what do you like to drink?
Well, I love hot chocolate, but I also enjoy tea. And
Okay.
so today I have tea. I like cold tea. I like hot tea. But today is cold tea.
Yeah. It's a tea day for me as well. Well, Tequila, do you wanna start by telling us a little bit about you and maybe how long have you been with College Foundation and what are some of the things that you enjoy the most working with College Foundation?
Oh, yes. Well, this is my 21st year working for a college foundation. So, about 2 decades and a little bit more over. I've been working at College Foundation of North Carolina. I'm the regional representative for the 336 telephone area code, so the triad area of the state and a little bit beyond. And I'm just so excited to be a representative so that I can tell people how to get career college ready. And so every day when I get up, I'm excited about going to work because I feel like that I have a message to share with folks that's going to help increase their quality of life. And
So
so,
what did you do before College Foundation, if you can remember? It has been a while.
gosh, that was so long ago. Before I came to College Foundation, I was doing marketing and customer service for a company in Rocky Mount, Eastern North Carolina. So just to kind of give you guys a visual, so I was working with a company called Divix. And so we're working with DVD technology. And so, I was actually, before I came to College Foundation, preparing to be a trainer for the customer service center. And so, and then I had been working in customer service. And before that, I was working for a different company doing marketing. So, marketing, communications, that's pretty much what my background is.
It's really funny how every skill that we get from something else is really transferable to whatever situation we end up. Um, many people know that before this, I was in banking. So numbers and figuring things out were really appealing to me. And I think higher education has that thing that we can all put our talents and skills together and form something so important, and which lead us perfectly to the conversation of today's Cafecito Virtual. We know that college is becoming the pathway and the opening door for many, many professions. In fact, many companies will not hire people without a degree. It could be a technical degree, it could be an associate degree, it could be a bachelor's degree, but we know also that it's expensive to kill. I mean, it's really, really expensive for some families to be able to afford an education. And I know you have a beautiful an important message. You always inspire me, Tequila, because when we have conversations, you really always talk about the importance of savings, but not only saving, but saving early, starting early with students. And I know that the College Foundation administers a wonderful account, a college savings account called 529. Can you tell
Right.
us what is a NC 529 plan?
I can. And that's a question a lot of people, ask because they're not sure when you say 529 what that means. But 529s are really designed to help folks actually um, save for all different types of qualified educational expenses. So we're talking about things like tuition, fees, room and board, books, supplies, other equipment. It could be a computer, but it's really designed to help people put money aside and plan for the future.
So is it fair to say that it's similar to like a retirement account, but this is for college tuition, educational purpose in a way?
Yeah, that's a really good way to explain it. So it is. It's very much like a retirement account, but it's just for college. And but I also want to let you guys know, not only is it for college now, but it can also be used for K-12 education. So if you're trying to send, someone to a private school, it can be used for that as well. So 529s have really kind of broadened to make sure that education is possible.
So, Tequila, why would we want to open a 529 account or a college savings plan? Um, do you have any examples too of why that might be important?
I really do. We have people that come from all different types, of backgrounds, and everybody's finances are a little bit different. And for most people, they just don't have an extra lump sum of money set aside just to say, hey, you know what? Here's money for you to pay for, 2 years or 4 years of college.
Hmm.
Most people's reality is not such. So the reason that you want to set up a 529 account is so that you take the worry out of paying for college. It's not as stressful. When you start thinking about the finances, most people are okay with the admissions process, just applying for college. But then you're trying to figure out, okay, now that I'm ready to go to college, it's not free unless you're getting scholarships or, grants, but, I may have to pay a portion of these expenses. So if you break it up into smaller components and you're saving as you go, it makes it so much more affordable. And, one of the messages I want to just send to everyone is when people think 529, they think they have to save for all of the expenses. But 529 accounts can be just a piece of the pie because right now you don't know if you're going to get scholarships, you don't know if you're going to get grants, but it's just important to have some money saved, whatever amount that is. And as I talk to families, one of the things I tell them, I said, a lot of times we go out to eat and we're going to, oh, my favorite place is Chick-fil-A. Oh, love Chick-fil-A. Oh gosh, and the sweet tea over there too, but I love Chick-fil-A. And so for me, I'm married and I have two children, two boys. They're growing. One's 13, one's about to be 10. And so when we go out to eat, family of four, I mean, we're spending at least $25 or close to $25 just for, lunch or dinner out. And so sometimes people say, I just can't afford it. So I tell people, save what you can, whatever amount that is, and maybe, instead of me choosing to go out to have Chick-fil-A one night, I can put that $25 into a savings account. So I'm just repurposing money that I was already planning to spend.
Yeah, that's really, really important, especially when we work with students towards the end, their final year, they're getting their award letters, and then there's a gap of money. Where does it come from, right? I apply for many scholarships, I apply for financial aid if I'm eligible, but then where did the money come from? And I think that that's a really important piece, Tequila, about planning for college, because we really have to provide the message that it's a combination of many, many things to make it happen. It's just not one thing that we did one day. It's just a combination over time of strategies to make it happen. So thank you for saying that. So you have two children. Oh my God, I can't imagine having two children and having to, are they thinking about higher education at some point? Is that,
They are.
yeah.
They are. So I have one son who thinks he's going into some type of engineering in the future. That's my fourth grader, so he's thinking about that. And I also have another son. He just turned 13, and so we're really excited. And what he seems to be interested in right now is cooking. Oh my gosh, he's grilling. He's making breakfast and all kinds of things. So we might have a future chef. We just don't know yet.
He needs to come my way and cook me some yummy stuff. But
Yeah.
even like for example engineer or going to chef school, that's gonna be expensive. Is that something that you guys have, talked about? Maybe do you have a 529 account?
Oh my gosh. Yes, 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 yes. But I want to tell you, this is something that's near and dear to my heart. It's really real. When I first started out, my oldest son, we did not start an account as soon as he was born. And I think that's where a lot of people are. Because, you're just trying to figure it out. You're trying to, you know, work, and you're trying to make sure you're taking care of all your obligations. And, kids are expensive when they're born. I mean, you're buying diapers, and you're buying all kinds of things, for them when they're young. And childcare, that's a big thing as well. So, so we didn't start as soon as he was born. Probably a couple years later or so, maybe a little bit longer than that, we set up an account for him. But you learn a lot after you have your first child and you have another one. So for the second child, we did plan right away. So as soon as, actually before he was born, we established an account that was going to be used for his college expenses. So guys, I just want you to know I'm not just someone who works for College Foundation, but I'm right there with you, preparing for college. And I'm a little bit nervous, even though I have some money set aside, I'm nervous because it's coming so quickly. And when your child is born, you're thinking, oh my gosh, they're just a toddler, or oh, they're just 6 months old. And I blink my eyes and I have two boys that are pretty much taller than I am. I'm 5'4", and they're about my height, and one is taller than I am. And college is almost staring me in the face. I have a rising eighth grader, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's becoming real. It's really becoming real right now. And so, but what I want you guys to get out of this whole conversation is start early, plan ahead. It's better to have something saved than nothing at all. And then emergencies happen. Things happen, like, that, could be that you lose your job, or some unusual circumstance happens where you feel like funds may be a little bit tight, and it's okay. You are able to start an account and stop as you need to. And then when things get back to normal, you can begin again. So don't think that, you can't, stop if you need to. I think a lot of people find that, like, oh gosh, I don't want to start, and then something comes up and I need money. I understand. I really do.
I love how you mentioned how flexible that is to start where you are. Like if I have been saving since my child has been little, that's wonderful. You had more time. But if you have not, then I think now is a good opportunity to start developing those habits. And I think too, the message that you give your child by having a college fund, you're telling them already college is a possibility for you.
Right.
And I feel like that message, people don't realize how important it is to give that message early. If that's what my child decides, I'm one of the proponents that college is not for everyone, but if you want to go to college, you should be able to go to college. And we're going to provide every opportunity to make it happen. But I think also it's a very individual process.
Right.
And when you mention the flexibility of the 529 account, I think that's really what, for me, it's appealing because I don't have children, right? I wish I could open a 529 for my dog.
We can't do that right now.
Those dog obedience classes are really, really expensive. But so let's talk a little bit more about the nitty gritty details about a college saving account, if you will. So you mentioned that we can open it whenever. So it's a flexible, wherever you are, you can open it. Either when your child is little, when your child is 14 years old. I'm actually thinking myself right now if I'm allowed to open one for my nephew. My nephew is 12 years old, and my understanding with that 529 account is that you can open it for anyone really that you like. Is that correct, Tequila? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So you can open an account for your child. It could be a stepchild, godchild, grandchild, niece, nephew, like you mentioned.
Mhm.
You can even use it for yourself. So it doesn't even have to be for, a child, but if you even want to go back to school or go to school, period, you can use it for yourself.
So what are so like, let's say for example, I'm interested in opening a 529 account. What How can I open an account, and do I start it with how much?
That's a great question. So, of course, we make it really simple for you. It is very easy to go online to our nc529.org website, and there you're able to enroll. It takes roughly 10 minutes. I mean, I went through it just like that. 10 minutes, I was able to be done. But the minimum contribution when you're making contributions to a 529 is at least $25.
Okay.
So $25 per contribution. And as you go through the enrollment process, it'll ask you how often you want to do it. So some people will say, well, I'll just say for myself, when I started, once a month. Some of you may say, well, I get paid every 2 weeks, and I may want to do it, every 2 weeks, but it's just whenever it's comfortable. And then let's say we're in that tax season right now. And so you get your tax return back, and you say, gosh, I have an extra few dollars that I don't know what I'm going to do with. Well, I'm going to tell you what to do with it. Put it in a 529 account. So you can do lump sum contributions. If you get some inheritance money, hey, you can put in your 529 account. So there are lots of things. You have family members who, want to give your child birthday money, or, money for different occasions, maybe graduation or whatever. You can have that money, put into the 529 account. We have some gift forms on our website to make it very easy. So enrollment is easy. Making contributions are just simple.
So as a savings account, right, we're putting this money in the savings account, and it's earning, I'm assuming it's a savings account, it earns interest, right? And one of the benefits of having an account like this is it tax, um, so you get some tax advantages maybe? Can you tell us
So
about that?
I can. I want to, so of course, as you're making contributions, I do want to make sure you guys understand you can have it, drafted from a checking or savings account. If your employer has payroll deduction, you can do it that way. So lots of ways. But the money that you're putting in is going to be after tax dollars. So you've already been taxed on the principal amount that you're putting in. And then the tax benefit comes when you're utilizing the funds or you're withdrawing it. So, of course, as long as it's used for qualified educational expenses, and we talked about the types of things that you can use it for, as long as it's used for those purposes, you're exempt from both federal and state taxes on what it earns. So
Wonderful.
basically, it grows tax free. I
That's
love that. Can I say it again? Tax free.
yeah.
You should use it for the purpose in which it's intended. And
Uh-huh.
so like I said, it's an awesome tool. And the one feature I love about it is that it's set for college. Because sometimes, let me just be real with you guys. Sometimes when you have money, you think that you put in your bank, you're like, oh gosh, I'm going to save money for this. And then you're like, well, you know what? I really want a canopy, or I really want, some rocking chairs in my front yard, or, you're thinking, and you're like, well, I'll just take, a little bit of money from it. But the 529 account allows you to stay focused, and it allows you to have some discipline, because it's meant for the purposes in which it's intended for college, or if you use it for K-12 education. So you have to think about some of those things as well. So that's one of the beauties of it. So, when I look at my account, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm going to be ready when my boys go to college. I'm going to have something saved. So it may not be every single penny, but it gives me peace of mind when I go to sleep at night and say, gosh, you know what? this is for my child's future.
Mhm. And I love how um, $25, like you mentioned, that's three Starbucks that some people have even once a week, and that minimum contribution for some families could be very affordable. And then if you can contribute more, always, of course, contribute as much as you can. But yes, I tax benefit. Yes, we need tax benefits. So when you mention um, eligible educational expenses, right? Um, are we saying tuition, which pays for your classes,
Yep.
your room and board, which is usually the most expensive things when you're living on campus, if you live on campus, your
Right.
books, anything that really relates to being a student in that particular institution. Is that
Right. And another thing that people commonly ask, me about is, as your students get older and they're in college, I want to stay on campus. They're
Mhm,
thinking, hey, I'm a junior or senior in college, I don't really want to stay in a dorm. They may want to move off campus. So
mhm.
it can also be used for off-campus housing, so just keep that, in mind as well. Because I know when I was in college, I actually stayed on campus up until my senior year, and then I wanted an apartment. And so it could be used for that type of expense as well. So it's a lot of that, flexibility with the 529.
And this, it gives us a good point that people don't realize, that when you go into college, not only you're paying for your classes, that there are fees attached to. So when we look at the per credit, maybe, oh, it's not too bad. But once you start adding, you have your books in your fees and all of those things that are necessary for your child to be able to be in college. For example, in your tequila, your child that might be a chef, those equipments are expensive, and the books they use, and all of that stuff. So it really helps to pay for all of that, correct? All of
It
the
does.
stuff they need.
It does. And, and like I always tell, families is that first of all, it takes a village. It doesn't have to be you saving for your child by yourself. You know, um, you know, get all your family members who want to do something for your child involved. It doesn't have to be you saving by yourself. And then, it does, get expensive. And don't worry if you're not able to save for every single penny. Even if you're able to put enough aside just for books, or if you're able to put enough aside to just cover tuition, that's still, thumbs up. Kudos to you because you've made a really good decision. And that's money that you don't have to pull out of your pocket later. So, it's great. And so I'm sitting here thinking, I'm counting my dollars, thinking, I don't know where my child's going to go yet. But, you know, I want them to know that I'm doing my best as a parent. And, I love both my boys and I want them to have the opportunities to better themselves. And also, I told them, you can't stay in my house forever. I want you to get your own place.
Get your 529 account to pay for your food and board.
Yeah, this is your exit plan.
I love it. I love it. So let's go into more like an advanced question. And I'm thinking, Tequila, for those students that are closer to starting to use some of those funds. Um, would an account like this impact in any negative way their financial aid that they may receive um, through the school? How is that work? I know it's a complicated question, and there's many pieces, but does a 529 impacts financial aid in any way?
So when you complete the FAFSA or the free application for federal student aid, initially, if the parent set up the account, it will be a parental asset. So it will be listed as far as the parent. the student doesn't really see anything until they start receiving distributions from from the 529 account. So let's say it's a freshman. That first year, of course, when you're doing the FAFSA form, you really haven't started using any money from it yet. But there is a question of FAFSA that will ask about different assets. So if the parent set the account up, is going to show as an asset, and then when the student starts, receiving funds for the next year, then of course, that will be noted. It doesn't mean that they're not going to get any financial aid. So I know some people think, well, if I have a 529 account, I'm not going to get any money. So I want you to rest assured, it's not saying that you're not getting any money for college. Because like, oh gosh, I'm not going to set up a 529 because I'm not going to have any money, for college. I'm not going to get any type of aid.
Yeah, FAFSA asks that question even if you have a savings account. Like, they want to know, all of your assets. So you mentioned something that is really interesting, and I don't think people necessarily realize. You mentioned that the owner is different, maybe different from the beneficiary, and I think that sometimes that creates a little bit of confusion. Can you tell us more about that?
Right. So, of course, the participant, that's what we call the owner or whoever establishes the account, they're in control of the account, meaning that, for example, if I set up an account for my child, when they reach the age of majority or maturity, which is typically, 18, they can't take the money and do what they want to with it. So, my sons can't take the money and decide they want to party like a rock star, join a band. They can't
Very tempting.
and do that, or sell the ocean blue. They can't use the money for that. So that gives you control. So the other thing with being a participant or owner, let's say that your child decides not to go to college right away. You have the ability to leave the money in the account, and maybe they go out and start working, and then they come back and say, you know what, I really want college. Or if they say, you know what, I think I'm okay. I'm not going to go to college. And, I have, one son that's 13. I can take the money in his account and roll it over to my youngest son. You can do that. So there's lots of, flexibility there.
That's wonderful because, like I mentioned, it's a very individualistic journey that, people take for education. I do love the control. I'm not going to lie there because, just to clarify, even if the child comes to an age, the account does not belong to the child or the person. It belongs to the participant on behalf of right? So in your case, you're the owner of the account of the participant on behalf of your child.
Correct. Now, anyone 18 or older can establish an account for someone else. So another scenario would be that if my child is 18, he could actually set up his own account. In that instance, he would be owner or participant and beneficiary because he's doing it for himself. So that can happen. You have grandparents who sometimes set up accounts, and then sometimes along the way, grandparents may decide, you know what, I no longer want, to be in control of the account. So there are, things that we can put in place to change the participant. So it could be that my mom has set up an account for my child. Now, as she's becoming more mature, she may say, you know what, Takeila, I really want you to take over, as the participant. And so we see lots of different things that may occur.
Mm-hmm. And I think that that's a wonderful way to make sure that it's used for what is intended. Instead of here's your money and do whatever you please. It just So tell me about once we're ready to start making withdrawals. How does that work?
Okay. So of course, at the very beginning today, we're just talking about setting an account. And when you have your account set up on the 529 website, there are lots of things that you can do. Maintenance forms, different forms that you may need for different purposes as you go through the process. So of course, there is a withdrawal form. that you can complete. And really, that's, let us know, hey, it's time. My students ready to go to college, and you're celebrating and you're excited. And the next thing is you want to know how to get the money to college, right? So there are a couple of different ways that you can get money to the school. You can do the withdrawal form. And of course, we can send money, we, meaning the 529 plan, can send money directly to the school to take care of the college expenses. And that will go directly to the business office. However, I come across families sometimes that will say, you know what, Takeila, we had money, in this account over here, and we went ahead and we paid for the tuition bill. Okay. And so in that instance, you can, complete the appropriate forms, and then you're really just being reimbursed from your account, your 529 account. So, but it's easy, once we receive your paperwork, we just want to make sure everything is, in good working order, that, we have all the information that's necessary. And so, no worries about that. Just know that everybody is going to be requesting things at the same time. So, so get your information to us as soon as we can, and then we'll make sure that that money is received in a timely manner.
Is there, I know hopefully this question comes up. Is there a limit of the amount of money that I can put into a college savings account?
So that amount just recently increased. So, the maximum contribution is $500,000.
Well, that's wonderful.
That sounds like a lot of money, right? So we look at the most expensive colleges and universities in the country, because 529s can be used at any accredited college or university in the country. So that means it can be a 2-year, 4-year, public, private. It can be in-state or out of state. And so, and we look at least 4 years of college, and it could be that a scholar or student is going to go to graduate school. And so, of course, that's what we look at. You're saving for one beneficiary per account. I get that question a lot. You want to save for all their children in one account. So you do need to have an account per beneficiary.
I love that it can be in-state, out of state, for any type of, approved or eligible institution, 2-year, 4-year. That's great, because a lot of times we don't even know. I mean, where are we going to end up?
That's exactly right. And, I just want to emphasize, a lot of times when people hear 529s, they think they're only needing to save for 4-year college, but it can be used at technical, colleges or trade schools.
Mm-hmm. That I think that in itself, that flexibility that it provides, being able to contribute with a minimum of $25 and just, go from there up to 500,000. Wow. I think that that's a great flexibility that it gives. So let's say, for example, I'm ready to open my nephew's account today, right? So what would I need? What would I need for the beneficiary? What information would I need to be able to open the account?
It's very simple. Of course, it's going to walk you through. The very first thing that you'll need to do is to set up a username and password on the website. So if you don't have that, take 2 or 3 minutes, set that up, and then when you get to the savings tab area, it's going to ask, are you ready to enroll now? And you'll say that you're ready to enroll, and you'll begin the enrollment process. And it really is going to be, ask information about the participant. So just basic demographic information. It will ask questions about the beneficiary. So basic things that you already know, as far as, your nephew or your child. The one piece, that sometimes parents may not really have available, or, uncles or aunts or whatever. So there is an area that will ask about the Social Security number, and it's okay if you don't have it right now. Okay, so that's something that you can get, later, or some type of taxpayer identification information later.
So as a participant or as a beneficiary, I can open an account with them having the Social Security or tax identification number, the ITN number, correct?
And the other piece is also going to ask you how you want to fund it.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you going to have it drafted from a checking account, savings account? There's a section I will ask, are you going to have it payroll deducted? And if so, you're going to have to indicate who your employer, is. And then, what funds? You're going to have to talk about your investments. So we have several different investments that are out there, some that are very conservative, some that are a little bit more aggressive. So you have to know what your risk tolerance is. So you're going to have to select that. And just because when you go through the enrollment process, you select certain investments, doesn't mean those are the ones you have to stay with, forever and ever. So you are able to, go in and make a change if you need to. So maybe you like this other fund now better than another one, and it's okay. You can make, changes. Just know that however you do your allocations, they just need to equal 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So you can mix and match.
That's good. That's good. I know some banks have accounts where they have a fee. They have, people pay $1 a month or something like that. Is there any fees like that with opening a 529 account?
So as far as fees associated with the 529 account, you're not actually going to get a bill or anything. So there are administration fees, but they're absorbed through the account itself. So we're not going to send you any additional bills. So we have to have some administrative costs so that we can continue to administer the program.
And my understanding is like very little, like people don't even
Yeah.
notice.
We try. The one thing you may or may not know, this is, a direct program with, College Foundation. And, it's not an advisor sold program. So we try to make sure that the costs are as small and little as possible for operational expenses. So, you're working directly with College Foundation with the 529 account. And so we cut out the middle person, that middleman. And so that's the beauty of our organization. We really try to put people first and their needs, and we care about North Carolinians and other people who want to participate, even if they're not from our state, in our plan.
Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, if I'm calling over the phone, this is someone here in North Carolina, in Raleigh, who's looking at my account and helping me go through any questions I have, correct?
That's right. So we have a dedicated call center. So you can call, you're talking to a live person, and they're going to help you come up with, you know, the right choices for you. Now, the one thing we can't do is we can't tell you which fund to choose, but we can help you figure out, well, what is the difference between this fund and that fund? What does it seek to do? As far as this particular fund, we can help you with that, but it really needs to be an individual decision that you make. Or if you have questions, you can talk to an advisor or planner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's sometimes, those questions, because you have to look at the holistic picture and see
Right.
what's the best for the family. It's really difficult to give advice. So thank you for that. Am I missing anything, or is there anything else that we need to know about 529s?
Well, some new things with the Secure Act came into place with 529s. So now you can use your 529 to repay student loans
Mm.
debt. So that's relatively new, and also for apprenticeships. And so that is something that's relatively new, but it has to be, registered, and certified by the Department of Labor. So it's just not any apprenticeship. It just has to be legitimate.
Yeah.
So of course, those are some of the newest things that have happened with 529. But what I want, everyone to know is don't delay. Get started today. Don't delay. Put aside whatever you can. Just know if you need to decrease, and not make contributions for a while, that's okay. You can always, start when the time is right. And the other piece is that if you do run into some additional dollars and you want to put more aside, you certainly can. So we don't want you to think that it's not possible. Any money you save is helpful, it's beneficial. And you want to, you just want to know that, for 529, we're going to be with you every step of the way. You have resources at your fingertips. Call us, email us. We want to help.
Mhm. Thank you so much, Takeila, for giving us a little introduction to 529. This is a very important piece of the planning for college. And I think the message to start early, not only because of the financial gains, the earlier you start, the more you might, accrue your interest and all that. That's wonderful. But I think also the idea or the picture that you paint for a student or for a family member, letting them know that college is a possibility and that financially, like you mentioned, you have that peace of mind that financially we're contributing as much as we can to that. I think that that's a responsible thing to do. That's a responsible thing to do. So
And so as we think about just financial literacy or financial wellness, you know, it really is helpful and that we start, planning. My dad, I love my dad. My dad used to always tell me, he said, Takeila, you plan your work and you work your plan. And I will never forget it. I think about that often, in all, aspects of my life, my work. He taught me that. And so I know that, we're actually uh, planting seeds that will help our children in the future. So we're doing our part to help our children, and they're going to do their part to help their children in the future. So we're planting seeds, and we want to see them grow. I'm so excited. I can't wait for graduation for my boys. I can't wait. I might cry a little bit. There'll be tears of joy, but I want them to have even more opportunities than I've had in my life.
Yeah, one of the things, Takeila, that keeps coming up in the conversations with students, it's having to get higher amounts of student loans to be able to go to college, and that certainly, since we're getting personal, that's certainly one way that I had to do to go to college. My family did help me out, but I wish I would have had an account like this, because I feel like my student loan number may have been different if
Mm-hmm.
we would have started earlier than we did. So I think the message here is start early, create a plan that works for your family.
That's right.
And a 529, like you mentioned, just the whole purpose of it is college. What a beautiful picture you're giving to your family and friends to say, my child might be going to college one day. Let's that birthday money, let's put a little bit in
That's
that
right.
account. Well, good. Well, thank you so much, Takeila, for your time this morning. I appreciate it tremendously. So good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
And cheers for Cafecito Virtual
Cheers.
in English, which is always exciting because we get the opportunity to share with our non Spanish speaker families, and many of our Latinos are now speaking fully English at home. Our counselors are seeing this, the students. So one of the things that we like to do in the Cafecito Takeila is, what advice do you have for them? And I think
Oh,
that really would provide us a place to finish the cafecito. But tell us, what advice do you have? It can be for families. How about this? Let's do this. One for families, one for students, and one for counselors.
okay. So my advice would be, of course, first of all, make sure you start off your day with coffee or tea or hot chocolate or something. And then my advice for parents would be, think about your child's future. Think about what what mark you want them to make in the world, and how can you, plant that seed.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be one thing. And then the other thing, for students, do your part. So you definitely want to do your part, and you want to, although your parents may be putting money aside for you, you want to definitely make sure that you're looking for scholarships, scholarship opportunities. You want to make sure you're doing that. And then, as we talk to our, counselor friends, our school counselors, then we want to make sure they are telling families about all the options that are available. So that means, not just looking for, scholarships, and grants and things in the future, but, as I talk to counselors that are working with K-5 or middle school, so, it's a little bit early for those students to start, looking for scholarships. There's some, but, that are out there here and there, but encouraging those families to plan ahead, start early.
Mm-hmm.
Start early.
So what I wanted to do, if you don't mind, oh, I can't see it here. I just wanted to make sure that people knew where to go. And you said that was nc529.org.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much for all the information. Thank you for spending a little time with us. And is there anything else that you want to say?
The only thing I want to say is, thank you so much for joining in and with Juanez and myself. And, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. I can't wait to find out how you're planning for the future. And most importantly, don't forget about the NC 529.
Thank you so much, Takeila. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Juanez. Have a great day.
Goodbye.